Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This meeting of online presenters has now begun. Guests, please know that in order to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmaster official speeches, or alternatively, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, you may apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by the members of our club. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it shows your name and role. If you have one, right-click and rename to do so. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. Thus, as a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we will be recording the meeting. Your video or audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. Also, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Please welcome our club president, DTM, Andy Bern.
Thank you very much. As I was sharing at the pre-open meeting, as Carolina was taking us around the world with all our members that are here, welcome. I know this is the holiday season, and sometimes demands in our time make it difficult to be at the meetings. I was mentioning that there are rounds of Toastmaster leadership institutes that are taking place throughout the globe. And I encourage all of you to participate with some of them, particularly those who have officer roles right now. We will be putting our heads together very soon about what new and exciting activities we're going to be doing in the next half of the year. But the things that you should focus on is to know that we would like every single one of you to consider renewing your membership. Normally that takes place during the end of March for the April 1st through September 30th time frame, but we can do it early. So as early as you want to do it, let our treasurer Sarah know that you wanted to provide money and pay for the next round of membership, which is officially April 1st through September 30th. Participate in a TLI. Consider what you need to finish off your year. We're about to finish our year, the one half of the year, and therefore you want to finish off your pathway wherever you are. So we want to help you with that. Let David, who is our VPE or Vice President of Education, let him know what additional speeches you need to do to finish off the paths that you're on. We love chucking up those awards, and we want to see each of you have them. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the meeting of online presenters. As I was thinking about the meeting for tonight, I was thinking that we were in the giving season, where we're thinking about giving gifts to our loved one, receiving gifts from our loved ones. And I thought about how many gifts we get every Monday in online presenters meeting. We have speakers that speak. I know originally we were going to have a speaker-thon tonight, but because we didn't get more than enough speakers, then that reverted back to our normal meeting. But each week, our speakers give us so many gifts. We get gifts in teaching us how to speak, because we have such professional speakers in this group. We get lessons in body language and timing and all sorts of things. So tonight, I would just like to encourage us to just listen to the speakers and grab hold to those wonderful nuggets, all the things you're going to learn, even from our people who are going to be helping with the support of the meetings. I'm sure there's something that we all will learn tonight. Our meeting has 3 parts. We have the speaking segment, we have the general evaluation segment, we have the table topic segment. And we also have members in the group that help us throughout the meeting. And so I'm going to call on those members to tell us what their role is tonight. But before I do want to mention the word of the day. The word of the day is imbue. It's a verb, and it means to permeate or inspire profoundly, to instill or inspire, such as with ideals and principles. So the speakers tonight are going to imbue us with their thoughts and going to help us grow even further from where we are today. So at this time, I'm going to ask the off counter to tell us what their role is tonight. Our counter is Carl, and he's also the grammarian.
Right. So it's a combined role. So I'll be looking for filler words, ahs, ands, and the goal is not 0, by the way. In fact, a study in Britain was done that showed that speakers who had a few little filler words here and there actually were understood better than those who did not. So 0 is, don't feel bad if your number is not 0. But we do want to keep them to a minimum, because then it gets really annoying. And that's what I'll be watching out for tonight. I know nobody here is going to be in the annoying category. We just want to keep you from going there. And then as grammarian, I'm going to be looking for use of language, nice turns of phrases. Those are the ones I'm really looking for, not so much incorrect use of language, though I'll be watching for that too. But I really like good words, good phrases, things that really stick out. Back to you.
Thank you, Carl. Our timer is Evie. Evie, are you prepared to tell us what you're going to do tonight?
I absolutely am. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. I am technically not quite a member yet, but almost. I really look forward to being that and to serving you tonight as the timer. During Toastmasters meetings, we practice imbuing our speeches and all of our speaking with a sense of engagement and making sure that we speak as engagingly as possible. And to that end, something we practice is filling a certain amount of time with speaking. And it's a real challenge to do that, and that's why we practice it here. So tonight, during the speeches, I will have this timer, this handy dandy timer right here on my screen, and I will start it according to the time that is required from each speech. I don't have those times yet, so if someone could send them to me, that would be helpful. I don't know exactly quite how you do it here, but I'm learning, and I will be timing your speeches just like you need. So. I am happy to serve you tonight, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Evie. For the prepared speeches, it's 5 to 7 minutes, and 5 minutes at green, 6 minutes at yellow, and 7 minutes at red, and then 30 seconds after that. For the table topics, 1 minute at green, 1.5 at yellow, and 2 at red, and 30 seconds after that. For our evaluators, which are 3 minutes, it would be 2 minutes at green, 2.5 at yellow, and 3 at red, and 30 seconds after that.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Thank you for the agenda link, by the way. I'm still learning where the links are. And yeah, those are very, very easily listed right on the agenda. Perfect. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Our chat monitor is Dr. Sunny. Please welcome Dr. Sunny. Tell us what you're going to do tonight.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As chat monitor, I'm going to keep track of the comments that imbue the most helpful, encouraging, and humorous posts throughout the meeting. For instance, maybe some links to external resources, or you may have a humorous observation depending on what you heard other members say. And when called upon, I will give a 1-minute report that will highlight some of the most noteworthy items placed in the chat during the meeting. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dr. Sunny. And our watcher is Graham. Please welcome Graham.
Yay, welcome, Graham. Oh, hang on, you weren't talking to me saying that. Madam Toastmaster, the name of this club is Online Presenters, and its purpose is, well, it's written on the tin. It's learning how to present in an online environment. So this club instituted a role which is designed to imbue in you a desire to appear as best you can on the screen. So my role as watcher will be, I'll be watching how we all appear on the screen. Are we using this environment to its best advantage? Are we, for example, easily seen? Are we wearing t-shirts that are inappropriate for a Toastmasters meeting? All those sorts of things I will be looking for, Madam Toastmaster, and I'll make a report on them at the end of the meeting.
Excellent. I think that covers all of our helpers. It takes us into the first section of the meeting, which is prepared speeches. We have 3 speakers tonight, and the purpose of the speaker section is for the speakers to practice speaking or to speak, and also to go through their pathways projects that they may be doing. Our first speaker tonight is Lou. Lou is a health and wellness practitioner who works with 50+ community. Most folks in this group are living unhealthy, stress-filled lives brought on by years of work and family responsibilities and pressures. Using tools and tips rooted in neuroscience, habit change theory, and psychology, Lou helps his clients create healthy lifestyles by overcoming their resistance to change and moving out of their comfort zone. Lou is at the best when he empowers these clients to be at their best. At this time, we're going to have and Lou's evaluator is Jim Barber. Right there. At this time, please welcome Lou. The topic of his speech is the other side of fear. He's speaking from Effective Coaching, Level 1, Mastering Fundamentals, and this is his icebreaker. Welcome, Lou.
With one piece of information, I can predict with 95% accuracy what you will do tomorrow, next month, even next year. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, all I need to know to do that is what you did yesterday, last month, or last year. Sorry, forgot to flip to my crystal ball there. Kind of goes in line with my speech. Each day, sorry, folks, let me back up a second. You see, folks, people live a life of routine. Each day, I go to the gym at 5 a.m. I then go to work at 9 a.m., have dinner at 6 p.m., and then get to bed at 10 p.m. Routine is fine if we are living the life we want, the life that we designed for ourselves. But many people are not. They are unhappy with their jobs, dissatisfied with their career choices, frustrated with their relationships. Why do these people stay in undesirable situations? The short answer is fear. The long answer requires us to take a deeper dive. Let's talk about life. We all have a past. We all have a future. Many people live in the past. Do you know someone like that? I used to be a past person. I talked, even thought in terms of woulda, coulda, shoulda. Do you know that we have between 40 and 60,000 thoughts each and every day? But on average, about 90% of them are of the past. I encourage you to test that theory after our meeting. 90%. What value does that bring us? How does that help us move forward in life? Many people do not plan their future. They do not set goals. Rather than make the future they want, they accept the future that is made for them. Of course, every now and then, they are forced to make a change, such as what to do after graduation, what to do after a divorce, what to do after being laid off from a job. But for the most part, they stay stuck in their comfort zone, in their familiar. They are resistant to, and indeed fear, change. This mismatch of present and preferred reality creates a lot of anxiety. Now let's talk about the present, or as I like to call it, the now. What is the now? It is the only moment, second, instant of time when we have the power to make a decision. We can change jobs. We can start a new career. We can create new relationships. We can shape our tomorrow. Here we are, running through life, existing in the present, in the now, but we are chained to our past through 90% of our daily thoughts. Every now and then, we do make a future impacting decision, sometimes by force. However, we move very slowly, if at all, toward the future we desire. How do we fix this? How do we break from our past? Break free from our past, overcome our fear, and move toward a future we desire. Here are a few tips. First, recognize your fear. Do you have a fear of failure? What if it doesn't work out? Do you have a fear of rejection? What if I'm not good enough? Or a fear of standing out? What if my idea is too radical? Next, stop thinking about the past. Catch yourself pasting, as I like to call it, and bring yourself back to the present, your moment of power. Finally, watch your language. Remove negative thoughts and phrases from your mind, from your daily language. One word in particular I'd like you to remove from your vocabulary. It is a word that is responsible for the most untapped potential in the world. Can't. Turn I can't into I can. My friends, to create a lifestyle that you want, set and write down your goals. Create an action plan to achieve them. Rise above the crowd. Think in new and different ways. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Drive past your fear, because everything you want is on the other side. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lou. You imbued us in that speech to move past fear and to remove I can't from our vocabulary. Our next speaker is Maggie Lou. She's speaking from Team Collaboration Level 4, Building Skills and Motivating Others. The topic of her speech is Spend Wisely. Her evaluator is Andre Smolenko. Please welcome Maggie.
Hi, my fellow Toastmasters. Good morning here, Tuesday, Brisbane. As we all said, this is a wonderful season. We are sharing our loves. We are sending gifts to our families. And I'm sure there's one thing you don't want to share with your loved ones. That's the credit card bills. Have you think about how many things we are spending in this past 3 years and how many terrible news from the media? Because every morning when I go to work, I play the podcast from Morgan Stanley. All I heard is inflation's interest rates goes up, petrol price goes up, energy price goes up. So when we come to the year end, when we want to shop, when we want to gifting our friends, think wisely, spend wisely. That's something I want to share with you, my friends, today. In the past years, I have developed this 16 questions long list to ask myself before I do any kind of major spending. So I'm going to share with you today, that's something in my wish list, which you can see from the screen, is a Dyson V12, a more powerful vacuum machine. I kind of want to replace my current one. If I want to use the 16 questions asking myself, hopefully that will help you to consider any of your wish list. So the question number 1, how long it will last? Well, based on experience, because I had the 2 Dyson vacuum machine before, I'm pretty sure if I buy this one today, this one will last another 5 to 6 years. Second question, is this investment or expenses? Is it a cost or a bringing more value? Well, unfortunately, this is still a cost. It could not bring any more values. So it's a negative answer for the question 2. Question 3, how often am I going to use it? Well, as a housewife, I'm pretty sure I'm going to use more than 3 times a week, every single week for the next 5 to 6 times. So you can get a sense like I'm going to do some calculations very soon. Number 4, how much do I think it worth for? Is this thing currently overpricing? Well, I'm telling you, the past 2 Dyson vacuum machine I used to have that I bought like 6 years ago, it was so cheap. It was about 400 Australian dollar. And now if you look at this, the price down from 1,300 to not $1,000. You can kind of sense like how crazy right now, the inflation, the product price. So the answer to this, I don't think it was $1,000. In my heart, I feel like it only values about $600. So that's how I kind of evaluate this product. Question number 5, do I need to buy it today or later? Well, the answer is I don't have to buy today. I can wait for better sales, or I can subscribe to some newsletter about, I can keep watching this product. If anything, any store have a special discount, I may go in to buy later. So I don't have to buy it today. Number 6, is that going to buy me convenience or is that going to buy me trouble? Well, the answer is very positive. It's going to buy me convenience because I know this product. I know how easy it will be. I know how to clean up. So I don't have to learn more like a set of maintenance tasks of this thing. I'm sure they will bring me more convenience rather than troubles. Sorry, the question getting very long. We only finished the first 6. I'll try to be faster for the next 10. Otherwise, I couldn't finish my speech today. Number 7, am I going to enjoy it? Yes, I'm going to. Number 8, can I borrow it or rent it? So it's not applicable to this product. I'm sure it will maybe help for you to do other purchase. So currently for this one, I'm sure I can't borrow it or rent it. Number 9, can I trade in something to get this one cheaper? Yes, it's a good question because I can actually trade in my current Dyson V6 for $100 based on my research. So then I can reduce this purchase price of $999 down to $899. Number 10, can I actually make it myself? Well, that's a question if like you thinking go out, have a dinner outside, but I can't do it myself, unfortunately. And 11, did I ask my social network about this? Well, it's kind of troublesome, but I want to try. Just take a picture, post on Facebook, say, I'm thinking of buying this. Any suggestion? Maybe some secret friend tell me, oh, they want to get rid of this Dyson V12 because they already have a Dyson V15. I may get it for a discount or bargain price. So have a try, you'll be surprised. Number 12, is this net under my budget? Yes, as a finance professional people, I have a $2,000 for household equipment every single year. I'm very comfortable of this question now. Number 13, why do I want this item? List 3 reasons. Well, I can list 4 reasons straight away. First, buy me all these cleanings of my house, buy me the health of my family, and make the work faster and more efficient so I can enjoy more time with my family. So 3 questions, no problem. Sorry, 3 reasons, no problem. Number 14, if I do not buy, what can I do with the money instead? I'm probably going to save it. So it's not a huge thing, but if it's talking about some, big spending like vacations, like more than $10,000, maybe this question will help you, whether you want to save the money, put in some other more valuable area, or just want to spend on this item. Number 15, will I still need it next month or next year? Yes, I'm going to plan to use it for next 5-6 years. It's not a problem. It's very positive. And the last question, thank you, my friends. Come to this last question now with me. Do I really need it or just because it's on sale? It's both. So I probably won't very interested if it's not on sale. So based on my research, my friends, based on all this draw for 16 questions, I have this conclusion. The positive answer 11, negative answer 5, and the cost of usage is $1.15 every time when I use it. My friends, I'm going to buy it, and hopefully these 16 long questions will help you if you want to shop wisely and spend wisely. Thank you very much, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Maggie, and thank you for those tips on spending wisely. Our next speaker is Andrew Bern. And Andrew, I don't have the topic of your speech, but I see that you are speaking from Dynamic Leadership, Level 5, demonstrating expertise. Your evaluator will be Joni, and you can give us the topic of your speech. Please welcome Andrew.
Thank you very much. My topic is going to reflect on lessons learned from my pathway. And I'm going to be focusing on this question: who am I? Who am I? And I want you to think about who you are as well. In fact, I'm going to tell you the closing, and I'll repeat that as I go into it. There are 3 messages I want you to take away. First is that your life is not preordained. You can get the keys to your future and you can determine it. And the last question is, Toastmasters builds confidence, leadership, and communication skills. Those are the messages I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to share it in the context of some of the messages I learned and some of the lessons I learned from this Level 5 project. First of all, Jim Rome is a well-known author of professional development books. In those books, he has said that your personality, your character, is the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Think about who you hang out with. Are those people pulling you up, or are they pushing you down? For most people, between the ages of 0, being born, and 18, I would venture to say that the most important aspects of who you're spending time with would be your family, your father, mother, siblings, relatives. Your family are the ones that probably influence you the most. As you become older, after 18, at least in the United States, the next step is you go into college and you're influenced by the people of your peers in college, and then postgraduate training or work if you go directly from high school to work. So these are the things that influence you to who you are. Now, I'm going to tell you that besides your mother and father, how it affected me. And I'm looking at this program, this pathway, and I'm saying, what am I going to learn from it? And I can tell you that there is a pathways booklet known as 8078, and that tells you about each of the 11 paths that we have in pathways, and it tells you what you're expected to learn from each one. I encourage you all to pull that down from the Toastmasters website. It's 8078, and you can look up each and every one of the 11 paths and see what each one offers for you. For me, as I'm looking into answering the question of who am I look no further than my father and my mother. My father had a sort of a sad start. He was abandoned by his mother as a child. He was born in 1918, and he had a situation where the family was very poor, and the mother made a decision to put him into foster care and hold on to the older brother while they were moving through the Depression area type environment that he was in. So this was the start that my father went. As he grew up and later entered the military and then came back, he's abused by his older brother who took advantage of him, particularly in business. So this is some of the things that he came through with, and those environmental aspects impacted him through the rest of his life, amongst which were a lot of feelings of not being secure, feelings of that he was not enough or adequate enough. My mother, on the other hand, was a perfectionist, almost psychologically termed a very strong personality. And being a perfectionist, she wanted me to be a perfectionist as well. Nothing was ever enough. Those are some of the personality types that I was exposed to growing up, and some of which stuck with me. Give you another example of the message of you're not necessarily determining your future. You get to determine your future. Take the case example of Michael Corleone. Who's familiar with The Godfather? Raise your hand. Who've ever heard of it? Okay. Michael Corleone was born into the family of crime, and his father was the Godfather. His father said, I don't want you to follow me into this life of crime. And then a special event took place. What was that event? Who knows? Okay, that event was the assassination of his father and some of the key members of the Corleone family. Not wanting it, but he was forced by his circumstances to take a lead in the crime family. And then the third example I'll give you of life is not preordained and you can determine your own future is Oprah Winfrey. I'm sure everybody knows who Oprah Winfrey is, right? Is everyone familiar with her background? She was raised by a single mother, very, very poor. She was raped and had a child at age 14 who later died. And yet with all of those tragedies, all of those circumstances in her life, how did she turn out? Well, she became the first billionaire of her race from her movie, books, television shows, and other activities that she was involved with. So you would not have predicted, knowing her circumstances, what she would turn out to be or how successful she would be. And that's a message for all of us as well. You can determine your own success. The circumstances of your life will not determine your success. What else did this pathway teach me? It taught me about time management, and I'm watching with a careful eye to see that I don't go over on my time and that the colors are appropriate and don't go to red. Toastmasters teach us many skills. In fact, there are more than 351 different skills. You can take out that book I mentioned, the 8076, and check it off, check it off. What am I learning? What do I have left to learn? Each pathway as you go into it has the very beginning with each project, what you're supposed to learn from those pathways. And so I want you to all be aware that there is a program out there known as Pathways that help teach you what you can expect, what points of interest you can learn, and these are the things to know about. Evie, is the red flashing on your name mean I hit red? Okay. I leave those three messages to you. Life is not preordained. You get to determine your future path, and Toastmasters helps build confidence, leadership, and communication. Thank you very much, Toastmaster.
Thank you for that speech. At this time, we're going to ask our timer to give us the timing that all of our speakers qualify.
Sorry, clicking back and forth between apps. Let me see. I think our last speaker went over the limit was, let me see, it was Was that supposed to be a 5 to 7 minute speech as well?
With
Yeah,
30
the
seconds.
limit is
break.
30 seconds after 7 minutes, yes.
Our first two qualified. I'm so sorry.
Okay. All right. And when you get an opportunity, you can put the times in the chat.
I'll put them in.
Okay, our next session for this meeting is table topics. Wow, what about table topics? Everybody gets a chance to talk for 1 to 2 minutes on that. And our table topics master is Calvin Dorsey.
Good
Please welcome
evening,
Calvin.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow online presenters. Table topics is a part of our meeting which allows us to speak extemporaneously, which imbues our thoughts to consider infinite possibilities. I'll pose a question and call on a member. Be prepared, I'm coming. First of all, imagine that you're making a presentation to 500 managers, supervisors, and vice presidents, and you notice that your workbook is different from the audience's workbook with slightly different content. Andre, what would you do?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Table Topics Master. Clearly, you caught me off guard, and I can see you knew what you were doing. Perhaps you could repeat your question for me.
Yes, sir. Imagine that you're making a presentation into a large group of people, and you notice during your presentation that the workbook that you're using is different from the workbook that everybody else has. In fact, you're talking and they're just flipping. And Andre, you got to get paid. What would you do? How would you handle that situation? Would you just stop presenting and say, sorry, I got to go back home? What would you do?
Thank you very much for this amazing table topics question, Mr. Calvin Dorsey. I'll be honest, the first thing that came into my mind, being really honest about what happened. Clearly, the people in the audience, if I expect me to provide valuable content and answer one massive question, what's in it for me? And if I fail as a speaker to provide them with that valuable content I'm being paid for, then I probably start with honesty. Well, look, this is what happened. Unfortunately, things don't go according to the plan quite often. I propose you skip that book that you're flipping through and let's have a chat. And then I would continue that. The last thing I would probably do is just not to acknowledge a little embarrassment that I came across. Clearly, trying to make a fool of the audience is the foolish thing that any speaker could do. Audience, they're not fools. Being honest, accepting that flaws can happen and continue with the speech and deliver to the audience because they here first to get what they want and two, expect from me to deliver on a high level. Then that would be my chance to shine and that would be chance for the audience to find out, perhaps to learn as well, how to handle this embarrassing situations that could happen to anyone. And if I could, I would probably try to turn this little thing into an advantage. This is what I would do. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much, Andre. At this time, I'd like to swap places with Evie because my next question will go to Evie and I'll be the timer and I'd like you to answer this question. Evie, tell us about a time when you overcame an obstacle in your life.
Oh, this is a big one, Table Talks Master. Thank you so much for this question. So when the pandemic hit, it was tough for me because I was working completely in entertainment like live entertainment. I was on staff for an immersive monthly event. I was working for murder mystery dinners. I was doing escape rooms. I was working as a professional Disney princess. Like, I could not be around a bunch of kids. Like, everything kind of dried up, and I didn't know what to do because I'd actually already made a massive career change, and it just dried up in my hands. It was like I'd done all this work for nothing, and like it was tough. But then I kind of realized I've already done this. In 2015, actually 2014, right before I got married to my husband, I got laid off from Halliburton, and that was tough too. I had to really just dig deep and try to find a way to go on. I had to find what's next, because I hadn't really enjoyed my job very much, but those golden handcuffs, they were on me, and I found something else. Like, my husband, bless him, he was like, he noticed me drawing one day, and he was like, hey, you know what? You love that. You've always loved that. As long as I've known you, maybe you should turn that into what you do 40 hours a week. And so I started doing that. And that got my foot in the door for some stuff. And then that got me my foot in the door for more stuff. And then when the pandemic hit, I realized I'd already done this. I'd already done it. And so I went online and I started helping companies move their virtual events online. And I found platforms that I loved that were just new, and I could be on the cutting edge of this technology that I already kind of liked, but never had a chance, never had a project to really get into. And I did. And earlier this year, I did a gig for Google Earth. Like, that's where it's led me, and so many other cool opportunities that I never would have had a chance to do if I hadn't encountered that tough thing. And just realizing that I'd already done it. When you go through that in your life, you just got to look back at everything you've already done and know that you will make it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Sunny, I'm glad you returned. Just in time. You're muted.
I didn't realize I wasn't on. I was up here waving. Yay. Great.
Yes. What I like about Christmas is, can you complete that statement, please?
That's a great question. What I like about Christmas is I love the idea of being able to visit my family. See, I'm a New York girl living in a Mississippi world, but I get to go back home for Christmas, for the holidays. I'm looking forward to it next Tuesday, as a matter of fact. And it's because what I like about Christmas is family. Even though sometimes my sisters and we still get on each other's nerves, we love each other. And we don't always buy expensive gifts. And we know that you can always make more money, but you can't always make more memories. So that's why I truly enjoy Christmas. I also love going to New York City, getting on the subway, hoping I won't get mugged. But once I make it to 34th Street, I get to see Rockefeller, 47th Street, I get to see Rockefeller Center and all of the crowds walking around, just not necessarily being nice, but they're all in a festive mood in one way or the other. I get to buy a hot dog, something I love to do. I get to go to Forrest Gump's restaurant, and I get to get oysters. I love fried oysters. And I love the Christmas. I love the trees. I love Christmas, Christmas time. There's nothing like Christmas time in New York City. And that's just a few of the things I love about Christmas. My family, New York City, and the big Christmas tree. Back to you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the table topic segment this evening.
Thank you, Alvin. Timer, how did our speakers do? Did everybody qualify?
Everybody qualified. For one of them, it was real close, but we all qualified.
Excellent. Now we're going to go into our evaluation section, and our evaluator tonight is, our general evaluator is David Carr. Please welcome David.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm David Carr. I am your GE. It's my job to bring good things to light. And I'm going to rely on our fabulous evaluation team to help us bring to light some good things and things that perhaps conceivably could stand some improvement. Starting with Jim Barber, evaluating Toastmaster Lou Brown.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, my fellow Toastmasters, and especially, of course, Toastmaster Lou Brown. Lou, this was a terrific presentation. You asked me earlier by private chat if I had experienced any lag in your presentation. I didn't see any at all. There were no technical problems that I detected. Other people can maybe log into the chat and indicate if they detected anything. I saw nothing about that at all. Your presentation, I thought, was terrific. Your greatest strength is, in my opinion, your vocal strength, your vocal variety. You vary your presentation vocally in so many different ways. One, you are a master of the use of the pause. You use the pause, short pauses, long pauses, but you use them for emphasis. It's just so great. You break up your presentation so it's enjoyable to listen to you. But it's not just that. You vary your volume. You raise your voice a little bit, you lower your voice a little bit. It's not dramatic, but just enough to make it easy to listen to. I like that so much. Your vocabulary, it's not anything elaborate, not anything impressive, no 25-cent words or something like that, but very carefully selected vocabulary. For example, I wrote one of them down. You talked about a deeper dive. I liked that. Alliteration. You could have used many other words, but a deeper dive. And you put little pauses in there to make it work out so well. And a deeper dive, the cadence was just so good. Let's go to video. I was going to jump on you because you started like this. And I was going to go, oh, Lou, come on, little bitty little Lou over at the side, and you should be a part of the screen. But you didn't leave it like that. You quickly moved to this, and you became a part of the screen. And it made such a difference. You were there, and then of course you got even better. Shortly thereafter, you went to this, and you were even more involved in the presentation. And that was just so well done. Everything about your presentation, all the visual effects were so well done, masterfully done. But that leads me to the one suggestion that I have. And I know Graham is going to jump on me for this, and I deserve to be jumped on. But frankly, I don't have a solution. I can identify the problem. Maybe somebody else can say what can be done about it. As you can see in this picture, you are looking down, and you did that quite a bit throughout your presentation. At first, I thought you were reading a script, but then I realized you weren't. You were looking down whenever you wanted to change a visual effect. Whenever you wanted to bring up an arrow, whenever you wanted to change presentations, you looked down to see, probably looking at your mouse to see what you were going to do, how you were going to control it. And frankly, I don't know how you can solve that. One solution would be to have a director, have a second person handling the video, and all you do is do the presentation. But assuming that you can't do that, another possibility that I thought of, and I'm going to have to duck off screen for a moment here, is something that I need to get back on screen. Here we go. Something that I got a couple of days ago, and I haven't had a chance to use it yet, but it's a possibility, is a foot pedal. Musicians use this to turn the pages on their music. It generates a left or right click when I touch it with my foot. So I'm looking forward to possibly using that. I haven't tried it yet in doing control effects. You might be able to pull that off as well. Maybe other people can suggest things. That's the only thing that I've got in your presentation. This was a great presentation, and I look forward to your next one. Mr. General Evaluator.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Mr. General Evaluator, should next be calling on Toastmaster Andrei Smolenko, who evaluated Toastmaster Maggie Lou's speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator, my fellow online presenters, and most importantly, Maggie. What a powerful, motivational speech. You did an excellent, in my view, presentation on your team collaboration level 4, building skills, motivating us into very, very important subject for all of us, making the right purchase, taking time and saving money. Who wouldn't want to save money these days? As you mentioned in your speech, we all get bombarded by offers, by sales, by credit cards every morning. And how important, there's something I really, really like in your speech, that you underline the importance of taking your time, taking a deep breath, spending a little bit of time on important purchases in our life, and of course, saving money. You did tell us briefly about you being a sub housewife. You also mentioned about the importance of saving. How is that for your life? And you introduce the research, thorough research into making purchases online, consisting of 16 questions. And you went one by one for helping us to understand on the one particular example on how we can save money on one purchase. And this could be this. Yes, we could save money on buying course online. More than that, you demonstrated the results of your system. If we use them 16 questions, this is what we get. We save the money and the answers, this can be done. Step by step, very easy to use. I think we all could learn from you how to do it. Motivational, it is. At the same time, I would like to make a number of recommendations that perhaps could enhance your speech. The recommendation number 1 is perhaps you could provide a shorter version. It's like 3 questions out of 16. 3 questions out of 16 for those people who like it, do it quick. Pick 3, put it there. Then recommendation number 2, provide a handout in the chat. Yes, you've been asked by a very attentive member to do it. I want to do it as well, but sometimes you don't get the audience to ask that questions. And then I would suggest perhaps providing a few more slides. Okay, if you do it, perhaps just using the slides a bit more effectively to underline the research, to engage with audience a little bit more and motivates us to save more. Overall, I think you help me to save the money. You help the audience save the money. And with few little tricks, in summary, I think these comments answer this all. Maggie, great information. I will use your 16 questions to decide if I will upgrade to an iPod. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Andre. And our third evaluator, Jody Laidlaw, will be evaluating Dr. Andrew Bern's speech.
Say hello to the bad guy. I'm hoping I just made the right reference there. I loved how you engaged the audience. You gave me a focal point, Andy, that I could relate to your speech from. I mean, after all, even if I have the wrong reference, I still have an idea of where you were headed. As it relates to a lessons learned, it's about reflection. Reflection on occurrences, on how we can do things better the next time. I like your pace and your tone and the motivational way with which you brought across your message. It's not where you are, but where you can end up. Life circumstances might not be chosen for you or by you, but where you head is up to you. That introspective version of a lessons learned is actually quite unusual and not a path that I've ever seen it taken. On a normal basis, what happens is we have an event. We get together as a team, your 4 to 6 member team does an evaluation of you. I like the parallel that you utilize of the family. Your family was your team. You explained the members that made up your path to your lessons learned, your mom, your dad, and how their life story contributed to forming you as you reflected. As stated, normally what we would do is we have an event, we sit, we think about it, we go, okay, the next time we do this, we have to make sure that Prezi is working or that we have this coordinated. Or say, for example, we always have a Zoom bomber, so ensure that the security settings is set to X. And lessons learned can become very technical. I liked the fact that what you did was you put an emotionally intelligent spin on the matter, which most of us don't look at when we're evaluating what we have done. I really enjoyed that spin on the speech and just suggest for future reference that based on the fact that we do want to know what others thought of you and not just your perception of others. So that would be nice to be included in our lesson learned and why we do the 360 evaluation. So we not only get to introspect on our own, but also get to introspect based on the feedback that the members of our team provide. Because of your framing, though your pace and tone was clear and wonderful, you're forced to, well, enhance your face and do bigger gestures. I wouldn't be able to see it, and it becomes an even more technical speech. And considering that you were speaking about emotional intelligence and how far and great we can achieve if we put our mind to it and how we can overcome our circumstance, may I suggest adding a bit more animation. Overall, I look forward to hearing more from you. Back to your general evaluation.
Thank you, Joni. Let's see, let us hear from some of our supporting roles here. And of course, I've misplaced my screen here, but a moment. Let us hear from our double duty grammarian and accounter Carl Walsh.
All right, I'll make this real fast here. As grammarian, I loved Lou's pacing and pauses so that we got every point that he was making. That's not necessarily a grammarian thing, but in a way it is. And it helps get the language across so much better. Really, really excellent there. Maggie, I only caught one thing, and that is you talked about the price and you said, and then we decide whether this is overpricing. Now, you may have meant that actually, that this is the company doing overpricing on us, but it's a little confusing and it made me think about it. You don't want me to think about that. So it's probably better to do the direct, it was overpriced, but that's up to you. That's totally up to you. Andrew, I only caught one thing where you said Depression era type environment. Didn't need that word type in there. And as much as we can cut words out, that's great. Joni, love the phrase emotionally intelligent. Well done. The use of it. We've all heard of emotional intelligence. The way that you sort of adopted that phrase and used it in another way was very, very nice. As a counter, Maggie, let's see here. You did one, but it was on purpose, and that was fine. I have no problem with that. You did yeah, it's probably wrong, and that's great. You had 3 you knows though. Evie, you have a little bit of work to do, but you've come to the right place. You've come to exactly the right place. And that is, you had 4 ahs or uhs, you had 2 ums, 3 ands, 3 you knows, and 4 likes. So you just want to cut those words out as much as you can. And then you use the word stuff like that. You used it twice. And specificity is I don't know, it's the gold of what we do. So try to avoid words like stuff and thing. Sunny, you said and, one unnecessary and that was connecting sentences that was totally unnecessary. I don't know if it's because I haven't attended the club much recently, but you guys are hard. Back to you.
All right, wonderful. Let's hear from our visual grammarian. Graham Cairns was the watcher tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. General Evaluator. Look, I have to say, in general terms, I think everybody did a terrific job tonight. I think that most of the backgrounds are really well done. I don't normally like videos as a background, but I got to say, the page flipping over beside Carl's left shoulder, while I noticed it, it didn't distract me, but I did notice that it did it all the way through, and I thought that was interesting. David, I'm not quite sure why you're sitting in a prison cell, but that's what that looks like behind me. The group of men who are blurred and out of focus. It looks to me like you're sitting in a prison cell or an AA meeting or something. I'm not quite sure. Everybody did a particularly good job. Both Lou's use, I assume that was Cameo that you were using tonight, Lou. I thought that was particularly well done. And although you did notice that you didn't start using it until you were probably 30 seconds into your presentation, you need to think about these things. And Maggie, the use of share screen, I thought, and it's already been pointed out, you only had the one slide, and I go back and watch the video, because it's a really easy thing to happen. But what you actually showed us wasn't the screenshot that you wanted us to see. It was your PowerPoint presentation, including the notes that you were going to get to next. So we knew from the very beginning what the answers to your questions were going to be, at least in terms of numbers and things like that. Yes, I know it's frustrating. So little things like that. That's what we do as online presenters, though. We are learning how to use this environment effectively, and you imbued me with great hope for the future that everybody is going to continue to try to improve. Mr. General Evaluator.
All right, thank you, Graham. Let's hear from our chat monitor, Sunny Fridge.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. I enjoyed our chats today. One of the things that I noticed was a post at about 6:51 my time. Graham posted an article that was probably mentioned by Carl, I believe. And that article, when I clicked on the link, was Workshop Wednesday, or Filler Words, the Kiss of Death in Presentations. So I thought that was interesting. People also enjoyed Maggie's questions, and she posted those 16 questions to ask before you buy a purchase or make a purchase. And a humorous comment at 7:23 was by Lou Brown, when he talked about one of the answers to the table topics question. He said that if it was him, let me find it, he would tell the audience, it seems I have the correct workbook and all 5,000 of you have the wrong one. Let's have a word with the printer afterward. I thought that was rather humorous, and it made me chuckle. So this was great. And one thing I just want to mention quickly is that I love the fact that we can post the ability to vote for someone, a speaker or evaluator, whoever came up with that link. That's an ingenious idea, and it imbues just the fact that we are techies. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
All right. Thank you, Sunny. But by the way, this refers back to Graham. My virtual background is an impressionist painting of a Toastmasters meeting according to the DALL-E AI image generator. So have people in jail. All right, well, I guess they have Toastmasters in jail. Our vote counter was Carolina. Carolina, do we have some winners?
Yes, we have winners. Best evaluator, the winner is Andre. Best table topic speaker, the winner is Evie. And the best speaker of the meeting is drums, Lou Brown. Congratulations to the winners. Back to you, David.
Well, for my general evaluator comments, overview of the meeting, it was pretty well run, except for the general evaluator forgetting what he was supposed to be doing or saying from time to time. And what else? I was going to bring up the thing about Maggie Lou's slides being in what's called the presenter mode. The tricky thing is when you go to share your screen, PowerPoint actually shows up as 2 or 3 different screens or 2 to 3 different applications you can choose. And only one of them is what the audience is supposed to be saying. So yeah, if you did it deliberately, you know, there's none of these things are necessarily a mistake if that's the way you want to present it. But when I see that, I always think that looks like it might be a mistake. And so I think we had a pretty well organized and on-time meeting. It's 8:50. We're just about on time to wrap up. I want to say a few minutes of stuff at the end about getting people signed up for the next meeting. But with that, let me hand it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Sarah.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And thanks to all of the people who took part in the meeting tonight, and especially our speakers and evaluators and so forth. They gave us so much rich information tonight. So at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to our president. And I want to apologize to Carolina because when I was asking all of the helpers to speak what they would do, I overlooked the vote counter. So I apologize for that. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much. You did a wonderful job. And we appreciate all the efforts that you did in terms of going through everything, keeping us on time and well organized. As far as me, I would like to, of course, share my thoughts on the upcoming holiday season. And I certainly am grateful and appreciate everybody for being in our club. Certainly would recommend everybody thinking about, and who is not yet a Toastmaster amongst the people that I know that I would like to invite for the next meeting. I think that would be great. If everyone brought one, then the club would double in size. That's something to think about. There are a number of things that are taking place in Toastmasters world. The reflection on adding new membership, paying for all members that are already in the clubs to apply for and get their additional membership year.